Andy, Britt mentioned Edwin Diaz and blew a couple saves here along the way. Even though the Mets did win the game, another blown save for him. You spoke with Jeremy Hefner about Diaz. What did he have to say?
Yeah, I touched base with the pitching coach this morning, and he says he understands the consternation over it because of all the blown saves. Obviously, the velocity's down a little bit. The command of the pitches is down. He sees Diaz as not that far off mechanically. There's a couple of his mechanical checkpoints in his delivery that are not perfect, that they're working toward getting perfect, but Hefner thinks it's not that far off in that respect. But one point that he made that I hadn't thought about, and I want to make sure I get this right, so I'll read what he said. He said, the league got to adjust to the pitch clock last year. Edwin did not. Time between pitches is 4 seconds faster this year compared to 22, and that's significant. Edwin needs time to adjust to that. So just the idea that, I mean, this was such a big topic last year, this pitch clock. And pitchers, Max Scherzer was talking about it and hating on it every single day, and that was just one guy. So for Diaz to be in year one of the pitch clock is something that I thought was an interesting point for Hefner to make. One other thing I would add, this is not from Hefner, but from my observation of Diaz and from talking to some people who know him, this is a guy, he is a kind, gentle, sweet guy. And when he is on and when he is confident, he is so confident. The trumpets and the fired up and everything's clicking great. But as kind of a sensitive, sweet guy, when things are not going well, the confidence can really range down. So he's someone who can either pitch with a ton of confidence or maybe be lacking in that. And what we're seeing now with the blown saves and the results is a guy who might need to be just built up a little bit more that way, too. Again, that's not from Hefner, but I've seen this guy go good and bad, and he's like a different guy the way he carries himself in those scenarios.
Those are great points, Andy. I think the one about the pitch clock, as it pertains to velocity, makes a lot of sense because so many times last year we saw guys whose velocity was down early in the season as they adjusted to that because, you know, it's the same as running a sprint. You now all of a sudden have less time to recuperate and to rest between sprints, and these guys are throwing as hard as they can, so of course the velocity is going to tick down. I looked at his fastball usage. It's pretty much the same that it was 2 years ago, and it's something that I think has helped him was lowering the fastballs, hiring the slider percentage. So I don't think it's usage. I just think it's a matter of getting back that confidence, like you said, in the fastball, having a few good outings. And, you know, relievers in particular, if they can have 2, 3, 4 good outings, all of a sudden he is on a roll and then the trumpets are going and everyone's screaming and yelling for Edwin Diaz, right? So it is such a momentum game, especially for closers.
He's got to be better. Mets aren't good enough to overcome Edwin Diaz struggling at the back end of that bullpen.